Hello, let's talk restorative reflections. The why in restorative reflections. Restorative reflections are a teaching tool that we use for our practices. We all know that punitive consequences are not going to change behavior. What changes behavior is the teaching of alternative behaviors and the mitigation of the problem behavior. So, the reflection piece of it is part of that teaching piece of teaching alternative behaviors and examining those things. So, we build restorative reflections based on the coping model. The OPIN are all pieces that kind of are the premise of what a restorative reflection is. The comes before the restorative reflection, which is making sure the student has control of their emotions before having the reflection or conversation. The G comes in the conversation part of the restorative after the restorative reflection is complete and we're having that conversation, making sure that we don't skip the part of providing the student or person with the problem behavior positive praise when reviewing the form. So looking at the restorative reflection examples we have, and there's many more, you can modify these to yourself to suit your needs, but these are some basic restorative reflections that we have for you. A refocus form. If you haven't worked with Stephanie Howell, she created this resource and it's amazing. That refocus piece, if you have a student off task in your classroom. The reflection with minimal writing, that's usually for our elementary kiddos, maybe our MD students, but it's a simplified version. Maybe students with some writing deficits that might need more support in and completing a reflection. Our graphic organizer, students that are capable of a little bit more writing. Having said that, if you take that graphic organizer and maybe the student doesn't have the ability to get their thoughts to paper, you can scribe for them as an accommodation, or you can write some choices and they can choose some choices if you want them to work through that graphic organizer independently and they don't have the writing skills yet. The choices written reflection form down here, this is a Google form. This is going to be used for our older grade levels. We have some feelings to identify and lots of short answer writings to complete the reflection. Missing homework and retake, both used in the classroom with the classroom teacher, that we would see maybe getting to the bottom of why the homework is missing, or maybe with the retake, do they need to study in a different way? So these are two ways to focus and try to really get to the bottom of that student and why maybe they're missing homework if it's something consistent. So our behavior reflection is another form of reflection using those OPIN pieces. And we know again that if we would look at that C prior to giving this behavior reflection, making sure they have control of their emotions, and the G once they've completed that reflection and you're talking through it, thanking them and being appreciative of them working through that conflict resolution. Last but not least, we have the classroom refocus plan. This is a whole class plan, providing that brain break and a classroom reflection. There is a classroom reflection that is incorporated in this refocus plan, and then making sure that we get back to the task that maybe the classroom was off task on. We do want to make sure when we are doing this classroom refocus plan that if the class is off task, that we make sure that we go back to that so it's not reinforced through allowing them to escape the activity because of off-task behaviors. So that's restorative reflections. Check back. We do have other reflections that we could be adding here as we come across them, as people share them with us, as we create them. So we might have a more slide just today. I found